Mr. Rob Gronkowski. How are you? Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, Kay. And I can't believe it's week 18 already. This year, it went by so fast. It was like we were talking after week 1 on Gronk Wednesday. It felt like it was 2 weeks ago. So this season flew by. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. It was a great year, 2023, but on to this year, it's going to be even greater.
I love that 18 weeks later, you still don't know that it's Gronk Day instead of Gronk Wednesday, but that's why we love you, man. We love Rob Gronkowski.
Gronk Day, Gronk Wednesday, it's all the same thing.
It's all the same thing. Okay, so I hear your Arizona Wildcats get a win over the Sooners in the Alamo Bowl, and Bill Belichick, by the way, named you one of his top 5 players of all time. I don't know what those two things have to do with each other at all, but what do you make of this list so far? And Bill Belichick's out here making lists. Isn't that weird?
Man, that's crazy. When was this list created? I didn't see this yet. When did he do this?
So he did it in a press conference. Definitely strange behavior, which we'll get into more of with Bill Belichick as the days come on here. But yeah, he said this at a press conference.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I mean, it is definitely an honor to be in Coach Belichick's top 5 players of all time that he has coached. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it's definitely a privilege. It's definitely pretty cool to be mentioned in that. And Coach Belichick is definitely my #1 coach on my list. He's not just top 5. He's #1 on my list of the best coach I've ever had in my career. So, which is, really, really cool. And it was an honor that he was my coach for so long. But he's making lists now. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, that's what I like to see out of Coach Belichick, him doing type of things like that.
Who do you leave out? I mean, with all respect to Rodney Harrison, Devin McCourty, that's interesting. I mean, Matthew Slater, no Julian Edelman. What are we doing?
I mean, he coached so many great players. Yeah. That's why I can't believe he made a list of top 5 because there's so many players that are left out that could have been on that list. As an example, as you just said, Julian Edelman, Devin McCourty. There's just so many greats throughout his time, so it's tough to make a top 5 list, but I appreciate Coach Belichick, putting me on the top 5. That is a really cool honor. That might be the best honor I've ever had, actually, in my career, Kay.
The best honor ever?
The best honor ever. Top 5 in Coach Belichick's list. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Have you talked to Coach Belichick lately? Do you talk to him at all? Like, obviously, we're headed into week 18. We don't know what the future is. There's a lot of dots being connected. Is this a game that will you text him before this game and say, man, love you, man, or like after the game, anything like that?
Well, I definitely appreciate everything Coach Belichick did for myself, throughout my 9 years with the New England Patriots and taking a chance on me in the 2nd round. He did his homework on me, and I didn't have that good of an interview when I went over there during the pre-draft process, and he still took a chance on me. Even coming off of season, I didn't even play in college at the University of Arizona. I was out my junior year with a back injury, and I still declared for the draft, and he still took a chance on me in the 2nd round. So I appreciate Coach Belichick doing that. And the last time I talked to him actually was on Brady's podcast when he retired. He had Peyton Manning on, he had Coach Belichick on, he had myself on, he had everyone coming on throughout his podcast. So Coach Belichick and I were on at the same time. So that was the last time I talked to him. But if I saw him again, it would be like we just saw each other yesterday and we would hit it right off. But I do, this game, it's versus the New York Jets, Kay, so we know they're going to win. He's playing the Jets. He has their number. He don't lose to the Jets. They're going to win.
Does he hate the Jets as much as you do? If you were to give, speaking of Belichick, let's make a list here. The teams that, I know how you feel about the Colts, the Jets, the poop green, whatever. If you were to make a list of what you think Coach Bill's least favorite teams are Jets #1?
I would say the Jets are #1. I wouldn't say he really hates them really like that. I mean, it's because they haven't been good lately. You can't hate anyone after beating on them for freaking 20 straight games. I mean, it's just like, all right, we're playing the Jets again. I mean, back in the day when they were competitive and they were, had a chance to go to the playoffs or did go to the playoffs, like during that era, like 2008, before I was even there. And then when I got there in 2010 to like 2012, 2013, 2014, I mean, he definitely, showed the interest of him not liking the Jets. And it makes sense. I mean, he went there for a little bit. In the team meetings, he would let us know, and it engraved in us, it engraved in myself to not like the Jets either. And to this day, I mean, the Jets are the Jets. I don't hate the Jets, but like, it's not like I love the Jets. I just like the Jets are just like whatever now.
Yeah, I think there's no chance the Patriots don't win this game. I think this team is going to, even though I don't know how they're going to do it. They're hobbled. It's tough, but they've been feisty the past couple of weeks, and I think they're all going to come to play for Bill. That's what I think. If it is indeed the end of a chapter, I can't imagine. Everybody can say what they want about Bill, but that team has respect for him and what a legend he is.
Yes, exactly. I 100% agree. I can't see them losing this game versus the Jets. I mean, they want to go out with a bang. Even though it's a lost season and you're not going to the playoffs, you always want to go out with a bang going into the offseason feeling good. And this game versus the Jets, they win this game. They can go out with that bang, and they can get momentum building up into the offseason. And, Kay, I do not think personally this is Coach Belichick's last game as a head coach of the New England Patriots. I think he's going to at least have one more year to adjust, make adjustments, make changes, and go from there. And I think this win versus the Jets, once they win this weekend, will build that momentum into next year.
Why is it so hard? I disagree with you. Why is it so hard for you to believe, though?
It would just be so hard to see Bill Belichick, Coach Belichick on another team, on another sideline, being a head coach. It's just not an ideal situation. Tom Brady already left the New England Patriots, and it started going downhill from there. And then imagine Coach Belichick, another New England legend, getting let go and then going to another team and having success. I just don't think that would sit well with with Mr. Kraft. I think that's in back of his mind, that's a possibility. And also letting him go, knowing you're letting go one of the greatest coaches of all time, it would just be a tough decision to make. So I feel like he's going to be there for at least one more year to turn things around, to go out. They have a lot of room in the salary cap. They'll go bring some players in and fix what was wrong this year.
Well, it's all going to be up to Mr. Kraft, of course. A tough conversation to have. Not that he's not had to have tough conversations throughout his tenure as the legendary owner of this franchise. But I have to say, like, if I'm Bill, what I'm looking at is like a couple things. I got to win without Tom because people, if legacy matters to him as much as I'm assuming that it does, I got to do that. I got to win without Tom. I got to win. And I'm 27 away from Shula, and that matters to me if I'm Bill Belichick. I'm 27 away, and that does not, the math does not math for him to stay one more season and achieve that with the Patriots. So next year, let's say he retools. So you're saying after in a year, if it doesn't go well in this rebuild, and they have a quarterback problem. They do. They have a big quarterback problem. What then happens? You can see him leaving next year? Like, you got to rip the Band-Aid off at some point. And I think that 27 number, 27 wins away from passing Don Shula, is important here. So why not go somewhere where he thinks he can get that right away?
That's another good way, another way to look at it. That's for sure. And that's why it's a possibility that he may be on another team for that reason, to start over, to catch up to Don Shula and get the 27 wins with another organization, not wait until next year, have a downfall again next year, and then be in a hole and then not know where to go. There's so many great opportunities wide open right now for Coach Belichick to go in and hop on over to another team and be the head coach and start off strong. But he just has too much of a base, an origin with the New England Patriots, where I just feel like it'd just be like a little unsettled if he goes to another team because he is showing the fight. It's not like he's giving up, Kay. He's showing that fight every single week, week in and week out. If he threw the bag in and was going, hey, guys, it's whatever. We got the Jets this week, or we have the Washington last week, or whoever they're playing. We got the Bills, and they're not fighting, and they're just getting blown out, and he's showing that he doesn't care, then, yes, I think he would be 100% gone. But the thing is, he's showing such a fight still that's why I feel like he will possibly be there next year still.
I think you think that, or it's hard to imagine Kraft breaking up with him.
Exactly. It's hard to imagine. Like, it's tough. I mean, I won't believe it until I see it. And then I'll be like, wow, that's a situation I thought would have never happened.
I also think, like, you don't break up a marriage or you don't leave your, 20-something year partner unless you have it figured out somewhere else that you truly think is better, and this is a smart, wise, sage person. So I think a lot of it depends on the spots that are available. I do think Coach Belichick, and it's weird, I would like your opinion on this, people disagree about his value, what his market would be. If Bill Belichick did become available via trade, via just walking away from New England, like, there's some people who think, like, he's over the hill, we don't want him, we don't want that mentality, it doesn't work, it's over. Like that, it was Tom. People have that idea. Like, there's people out there I'm talking in the league, not just pundits, that have that thought. I find that hard to believe. I think that if you're a franchise wanting to sell tickets, wanting to establish discipline, wanting to really focus on, like, building up a defense, as we know, quarterback play has never really been something, Belichick sort of thinks he can win without a quarterback. He's thought that his entire career. And so, like, that's not even that important as a draw for him. I wonder if there's teams that have good coaches that I think Bill's one of these rare people, Gronk, that if he says, you know what, I'd like to come there, you might bounce a good coach that maybe even got you one and done in the playoffs if you've been trying to get further, that you would make the switch for Bill.
Possibly, but I don't see him coming over to another team and taking over a head coaching job where there's already a head coach in place. I think it would be one of the openings, like, for example, the Los Angeles Chargers. Yeah. I think that's actually the best play for him to go to the Chargers because they already have a quarterback in Justin Herbert. They have a good, solid team. I just believe that the Chargers just need a good coach in place to get that team to the next level because they have the players that they need on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball to win games. And then coaching matters as well. In order to win games in the NFL, you need good coaching and you need good players. And Coach Belichick is the best coach. And that's why New England was always competitive, even after Tom Brady. I mean, it's not like they're getting blown out every game. It happened once in a while because they just didn't have the players that they needed to compete, but the coaching was always there. Look at the defense. They've lost Judon, they've lost Gonzalez, and they're still stopping these teams on the offensive side of the ball that have good offenses with their defense, even with no namers out there. So he's a great coach still. And if he goes to another team with a great quarterback, I think the Chargers are the best situation for him.
Who, in hitting, speaking of lists, and we know what the market is. We're not going to sit here and fire coaches before that happens. But there's, like you said, LA. There's an interim situation with the Raiders. There's all of this. But when it comes to, like, hot candidates out in the world, usually I feel like Josh McDaniels is always like the belle of the ball when these things happen. You have Bill. You potentially have Jim Harbaugh. Who's more attractive if you're an NFL franchise?
Dang, that's a tough question right there. I mean, because Jim Harbaugh he's hot right now. He's super hot right now, especially coming off that win, versus Alabama. And he has experience in the NFL. He has success in the NFL with the 49ers when he was there. Didn't he go to a Super Bowl and they lost when he was there? So
they lost to the Ravens.
I would say,
oh no,
I would just say Coach Belichick is still the hotter guy. He just has that much more experience. He's been in the league for 50 years or however long. So I'll go with Coach Belichick still over Jim Harbaugh.
So he'll have his pick of the teams, Bill Belichick. And that means a lot because I think people don't think that Bill Belichick has value. And you're saying that he's sort of at the top of the hierarchy of names and candidates available as head coaches, no matter what happens after this week. And they'll, of course, get that win over the Jets. That's super interesting. I don't know what happens. I think I'm super fascinated with, like, if Kraft were to have to make that decision, who's coming in there?
I am very fascinated about what's really going to happen, like you just said. And it's all going to come down to Mr. Kraft. I mean, he's the owner of the team. It's going to come down to the Kraft group of what they want to do with Coach Belichick, if they want to have him come back for another year, or if they want to trade him or release him, or whatever the reasoning is, or whatever the situation is. I'm very interested in it. I'm going to be, definitely staying tuned in it on what the decision is going to be. And I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to be really shocked if he's gone.
I mean, because I can't imagine, like, Bill O'Brien taking over as head coach.
No, I can't imagine Bill O'Brien being the head coach either. Coach O'Brien, unbelievable offensive coordinator, but I just feel like he wouldn't be the guy to be that next head coach of the New England Patriots.
I got a name. I got a name for you.
Who is it?
Gerard Mayo.
Gerard Mayo, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of things that he could possibly be the successor. I still think he doesn't have enough experience, though. I mean, he's not even a defensive coordinator yet. I mean, he's a great coach, great guy, but just the experience isn't there yet. I mean, he has to go through the table of getting up to the head coaching level, and I feel like he needs to be a defensive coordinator first before he just jumps right to the head coach. But the guy that's most interested, in my opinion, obviously, if it happens somehow, is the Tennessee Titans head coach.
Vrabel.
Coach Vrabel. I think he's the guy that would be a great fit for the New England Patriots.
Vrabel to New England would be wild. The question then for Kraft would be, is Mike Vrabel better, who just got assumingly let go by Tennessee, is he better than what I have in Bill Belichick? That's the question he'd have to ask.
He's not going to be let go by Tennessee.
Take it. Right.
They would have to figure out a way to be able to trade for Mike Vrabel or something. Because, there's going to have to be a package deal done.
I meant like they'd let him go. Like the Tennessee would say, go ahead and like do that, and they'd be able to work something out. For Kraft to pull that, it's just the question, who do I trust more with the reins? Is it Belichick or is it Vrabel? Which is, I don't know.
I still think it's Coach Belichick, and that's why I don't see Coach Belichick being gone yet. Who is going to replace him as the head coach of the New England Patriots? I just still think it makes sense to have Coach Belichick as the head coach next year. Okay, would it be weird? Who do you think is a better fit than Coach Belichick next year for the New England Patriots, if it's not him?
Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, all right. Wow, that's a good one. Okay, that's the only other guy out there that would be a pretty good fit. Yes.
Word on the street, Jim Harbaugh just got Don Yee to do his business. Don Yee's whose agent again? Remind me.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
He was Tom Brady's, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, I know that's Brady's agent.
Yeah, so maybe Kraft and Don Yee probably have some sort of, they have each other's phone numbers, right?
Yeah, they sure do. Yeah, that could be a possibility. You're right. I never thought about
that quarterback. I don't follow the college game, but he's pretty good. Could he bring a quarterback with him? I don't know. What's his name?
Who? J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy. No?
I mean, possibly.
I don't know. I'm just.
Wow, you're throwing it out there. You just threw a half-court shot.
Well, I mean, if you're sitting there at that table and you're Mr. Kraft, you have to think, what's better than this? So, that's sexy. Jim is sexy.
You're right. If you are Mr. Kraft, you do have to put it down on a piece of paper. Hey, what's the pros? What's the cons? What is the better situation? Who is a better head coach that can be, what head coach can I get to be the head coach of the New England Patriots that's a better fit than Coach Belichick? And that's going to be a tough situation. Like you said, Coach Jim Harbaugh might be the only coach out there that could be a sexier option, like you said. But could he pull it off? Could it happen? And that's going to play into the factor as well.
You brought up Vrabel. I want to hit this before the break. Vrabel had a fiery press conference. I don't know if you heard this. Let's take a listen.
Because it sucks to lose, Gentry.
Trey, ever need to show you anything?
Did you have another thought, or no? I'm just curious.
Well,
it fucking sucks. Losing. Awful. That's why I want to win. Because you don't sleep. You want to win for the players that bust their tail. That's it.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back after this. Is that a guy on his way to New England? Maybe. It's all going to happen in the next couple of weeks, so good to have Gronk's perspective on it. After this, we got to get into Tom. You say you're friends with Tom Brady. You say, like, you love Tom Brady, ride or die for Tom Brady. After this, if we can hit the break, Gronk retired Tom Brady. Brady would still be playing if it wasn't for this. You retired him. We'll be back right here on FNX.